Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The GOAT, where we talk about everything GOAT related. We talk about what it takes to be a GOAT, what are you when you are a GOAT, how do you get to be a GOAT, all kinds of GOAT related stuff. And it's not just in sports. We talk about GOATs in life, GOAT moms, GOAT dads. And tonight we have a very interesting gentleman. His name is Jim Luke, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about being a goat shooter. You know, he shoots at things, and he's one of the nation's best. So we're going to jump in with Jim. Tonight, Julie decided to come back. Yay! She liked last week, and she thought it was so much fun. So I am so honored to have you here, Julie. Thank you for coming back.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And last week's show, Julie, was one of my favorites, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was just me and you.
Uh-huh.
And we were answering questions that we got from different people and from the audience. And it was like we could really dig into the answers rather than, you know, a lot of times we got an agenda that we got to get through, and we want to make sure that we cover this with Jim and this with Jim and this with Jim. And that was just like a unique show because we got to dig into the real questions that our audience had. So please feel free to continue to send us questions, comments, people that you would like to see on the GOAT, because it helps us to be valuable to you guys. So now I'm so excited to talk about Jim. Jim, I am so happy that you decided to come on the show. Like 8 years ago, we got a chance to meet, and you were at that time, and I'm going to tell the audience, even though you might not look at it like this, you were 70 years old and competing at a national level when you came to see me. That was a first for me. That was at first. I work from usually 8 to 35 is usually the kids and then the professionals. And it was so cool to be able to work with you still competing at that level, at that age. And I heard right before the show that you're still competing.
Yes,
you're 78.
Yes.
That's a true GOAT.
And still enjoying it.
Yeah.
You're my idol, dude. So I am so excited to have you on the show. And I got so many questions that I want to ask. But first, let's get a little bit of background that I can have you start with. And that is, you started shooting in high school, I believe, right?
Yes, I was on the rifle team in high school. I went to a military academy, and fortunately I made the rifle team because I wasn't successful in any other sports they had. But I liked shooting, and so I did that for 3 years while I was in high school.
I love that. So then what happened next?
Well, I went to college, graduated from UMKC with a degree in English, taught school for a while, and went to various jobs after that. And finally, when I was 27, I did what I'd been wanting to do for a long time, and I went into the construction industry and became a carpenter. And
Right.
I thought I had a natural knack for it, and so I've done that for over 50 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. But during the time the time from high school until I was in my late 30s, I didn't shoot hardly at all because I was busy raising a family, getting
Right.
my business established, and I just had other more important priorities. And when I
Right.
was in my late 30s, I thought, you need to have something, to do a hobby. And so I got involved in competitive shooting. I started out because it was 1976, I believe. That's when the bicentennial was in full force, and muzzle loading shooting, black powder rifles was the craze. It was very popular. So I
Right.
bought a rifle. I started doing that, and I competed for like 14 years in that game. And
Wow.
I won. I was fairly successful. I won several state championships. I established a record at a match back in Friendship, Indiana, where the national matches are that has never been broken yet.
Wow.
Wow.
And I did that until the late 1980s. And then I got interested in single shot shooting with old time Schutzen rifles from Germany, that type of a rifle, very heavy rifles and so forth. And I competed heavily in that for probably 20 years. And I won the International Schützenfest 3 times from 204 to 207. And that was a steep hill to climb. It was tough shooting, but I finally did it.
Jim,
Um,
I got a question while you're going there is how did you get to be so good? I mean, lots of people start young and shoot all the way through. You skip for 20 years and all of a sudden you come back and you're good.
well, I think I have some natural ability.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I worked really hard at it.
Uh,
I worked really hard at it. I practiced a lot. I went to all the matches I could.
right.
So, with practice, you have to become better or you're doing something wrong.
Right. Exactly. Well, and that's not something that a lot of people even think like, how often do you go out and practice? Like, what to get to the level you're at, and you were starting down here. How often did you have to shoot and go and practice and dedicate time?
Well, with working and everything, probably if I was lucky, I could get out twice a week.
Oh yeah,
But in the meantime, I did what they call dry fire at home. I would put up a target in the kitchen on the cabinet door and
uh-huh.
just stand in the hallway and hold my rifle and practice that way. And it's very boring, but
Right,
the repetition of doing that, I think, helps make you better.
Were you
exactly.
just practicing holding it still, or were you
Just
actually?
practicing holding the rifle on the target and squeezing the trigger, just
Okay.
everything, but actually firing the shot.
I was
Wow,
going to ask this question later, but it seems like a good time. Have you seen Zombieland, the movie Zombieland before?
I haven't.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, it's a funny movie, but there's a part in the movie where Woody Harrelson and I forget who the young girl is, and they're inside Bill Murray's mansion and they're taking just target practice. They're just shooting stuff inside the mansion, and the young girl couldn't hit anything. So Woody Harrelson says, just stop a minute. And he says, breathe out, exhale, and then squeeze. And she did it, and of course she hit everything.
Yeah.
So my question is, does that work? Just breathing out and then squeezing? Is that a
Oh,
real thing?
yeah. I always just become a habit that I don't even think about now because I do it every time. I take a deep breath. I let out, no, not all of it, but most of it. And then I put the rifle up to my shoulder and I have 10, 12 seconds to get the shot off. After that, if you wait too long, if you know about your body, when your body starts to be starved for oxygen, the
Right,
first place it loses it is in your eyes. So you don't want to wait too long. Otherwise, if you shoot, you're liable to miss or have a bad shot.
right. Wow.
Okay.
So you don't really breathe. You hold it out for like
Oh,
12 seconds.
yeah, no, you don't want to breathe while you're shooting. Your body will move if you do that.
Huh.
Right. Have you ever tested your heart rate when you're shooting?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I know my resting heart rate is around 60 beats per minute. I probably shooting is a little more than that,
Yeah.
maybe 70 or so. But
Right.
I can I can calm myself down just by thinking about it and taking some deep breaths. I
Right.
I can calm myself down. You know, those are just things that you acquire through practice. You know,
Somebody,
you
you
can
were
will it to happen in your body.
right, exactly. And it takes practice, like you said. I teach relaxation techniques, and there's only a few people that ever practice them enough to make them effective. And that's usually people that have had panic attacks. It's like a miracle for them. It's like
Uh-huh.
they're able to calm themselves down, like you just said, and control it with their mind.
Yeah.
Then it's a miracle. And then it's usually elite athletes, like the ones that it requires that kind of steadiness, that kind of being able to control your emotions. Like your sport is probably one of the most affected by anxieties if you go up and you are,
I would say that's true because
yeah,
in my sport you have to stand still. In most other sports, playing golf or baseball or whatever, you
right,
get to at least move, you
Right.
know.
exactly.
So it takes a lot of willpower. I think that young people, I really wish more young people would take up the shooting sports because I think it would be so advantageous to be
Yeah,
able to harness yourself, you know, and make yourself do things. The discipline that
yeah.
you can achieve doing shooting is phenomenal, I think. You
Oh
know,
boy,
and it can affect all parts of your life.
it sure does for you. I know. It's like you're calm, you're collected, you can handle yourself in a lot of situations. I know there's times when you probably go off the deep end, but you are that presence, Jim. It's like you are that calming, go up there, I can be in control. Even if you're not, you seem like it.
I hide it well.
Right, exactly.
uh,
So then you start the journey. You're done with the black powder.
and the single shot shooting, and I was getting after doing it the single shot shooting for 20 years. I'd won the national match 3 times, and I was looking for a new challenge. And I found it in the lever gun silhouette shooting. I'd never done silhouette shooting before. It's so much different than shooting a paper target. In that photo you see there, I'm standing, my spotter's there sitting beside me watching my shots. You see those little black specks out there on the against those gravel. There you are.
There.
Uh, that's what we shoot at. We shoot at four
Wow.
different types of animals: chickens, pigs, turkeys, and rams at distances of 40 to 200 meters. And you can see we don't use scopes, we use receiver iron sights. So you have to have good vision to do that. And go
And
ahead.
and so you have how long to shoot so many shots, right?
Oh, okay. The course of fire, most matches are 40 shots, 10 shots at each animal. You have 2 minutes for 5 shots. They
Okay.
give you 30 seconds to load your rifle and then 2 minutes to fire 5 shots, which, if you don't have any malfunctions or the wind's not blowing real hard,
Right.
you can easily get off 5 shots in 2 minutes. You know, you can. Now, when I first started the game, it was a little bit difficult for me because I was always thinking about that time. I didn't want to run out of time, but
Right.
now I don't even, I just get up and do it and don't even think about the time too much.
I think my face is flashing in and out, isn't it, Julie?
Well, it's going yellow a little bit here and there.
I'm feeling jaundiced.
Yeah, that's
Is it too
what-
much for you, Jeff?
Man, this is like a serious blush. All right, let
Yeah.
me
What
see
is?
what I got going on here.
Yeah. What's doing that?
I got nothing, man. I got nothing.
So there's not a light there in front of you that's doing that. It's just.
The sun is coming in a little bit more.
It's okay. We don't mind you being a little jaundiced.
Right. Oh, look at that.
A sudden tan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did I sneeze and cover up my little light?
No, I don't think so. We'll just roll with it.
All right,
You
just
look,
roll
you
it
look,
up.
can you see us?
I can see you guys. You're looking good.
Yeah, we're not so yellow.
All right, so do not pay attention to the man, the yellow man.
Okay.
Well, continue on, Jim.
Well, I briefly explained what we shoot at, the targets, and
Right.
the object is, you hit the target and it falls over. Sometimes you'll just hit it maybe on the edge and it doesn't go off the stand. And if it doesn't go, it doesn't count. But that doesn't happen too often. Usually you hit it, it goes down.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the things I really enjoy about it over paper target shooting, in that when you fire a shot, you have immediate feedback on the success of it or not.
Right.
Something happens, and I thoroughly enjoy that, and it's my most favorite shooting game I've ever done. I just enjoy it immensely,
Yeah.
and I
So-
love the competition.
So it doesn't matter where you hit it. You just have to make sure that it gets knocked
That's
down.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. It doesn't matter where.
So when we met, you came in and you told me, I believe, and I don't remember this, I'm getting to this place and I haven't done as good as I would like to do at nationals for silhouette shooting.
Yeah.
So you came in and said, I think you said this, I got fifth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're 70 years old and you got fifth in the nation. And
Yeah. There was like 150 some shooters there.
right. I was amazed that you were that level, and so it's like, that was so cool for me. So tell me what you did, like throughout your career. You struggled, you had good times, but you had bad times. You would go periods of time where you were challenged. How did you handle all that?
Well, I'll tell you, in all the shooting I've done, even in high school, I didn't have a guy like you around to help me with the mental part of the game.
Right.
And so I have a strong work ethic. So I just worked real hard to have the success that I did in shooting. But it was hard. And when I would finish a match, even though I won, I might win or place high, I would just zapped, I was worn out with it. And it really, there wasn't any fun in it. It wasn't fun to do it. Even though I enjoyed winning, it was too much work to do it, in a way. So that's why I came to you really in desperation, because I knew I was getting older, 70, and I still wanted to do well, and I didn't know what else to do, but I was in this rut of working so hard to win a match, that I didn't know how to get out of that.
When you
But
say, I'm sorry.
how
go ahead.
you helped, did you have a question?
I did, but go ahead. Go ahead and finish.
When I came to see you, Jeff, you told me about all the basketball players you worked with the Utah Jazz and other people, and how he said they weren't any different than me, that we all had common problems, and that we all come into whatever kind of sport we do with influences from our childhood, our background, our parents, and for me, my dad was a real strong disciplinarian. I loved him to pieces, but he was really strict with me, and he always told me, if you're going to do something, you do it the best you can. He 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 drove that into my brain from an early age.
Right.
So I grew up thinking I had to work just as hard as I could to achieve anything.
Right.
And in a sense that is true, but you reach a point where you can work too hard. Especially, I don't know how it applies to other sports because I haven't been involved in other sports to the extent that I have been in shooting. But for me, I would I would go out and I would practice and I would work on technique, everything, and do good, really working on it. And I get in a match and I came to the match with the same attitude that I had to go in there and work just as hard as I could, and I put so much undue pressure on myself.
Right.
And what you helped me see, which took a long time for me, because you have to remember I had 30, 40 years of this background, that I had to get rid of. And
Right.
that's tough. Uh, what you made me see that it's fine to go out and practice hard, but when you go to the match, you want to have fun. And I know every time I'd come to see you, you kept harping on going out and having fun. And I was thinking, what's this guy talking about? How can I have fun and shoot well? So, but eventually I got the message, and I still, when I practice, I work on technique. Anything I'm doing wrong, I try to correct it.
Yeah.
But when I get into a match situation, I try. Now, I can't do it every time, but I try to just work on letting my subconscious take over,
Right.
just getting up and shooting, because all that practice and everything, that has an effect on your subconscious. And if
Exactly.
you'll let it take over, the shooting becomes easy,
Yeah.
easy. And I know that some people say, oh, well, shooting can't be easy. Well, it is if you practiced, and
Right.
done everything you should, and then you kind of let the shot take care of itself. I mean, here in the past couple of years, I've noticed when I'd go out to shoot in a match or even at practice, I'd put the rifle up and it would be right on the target, right dead center on the target that may be 200 yards away, 200 meters away, but
Right.
it's right on the target. And at first it kind of scared me,
Right.
that isn't supposed to be that way.
That's muscle
But
memory for you.
I then I started taking advantage of that. When that was on the target, the shot goes. I
Right.
don't think about it. It's gone. I knocked the animal down.
That's
So
beautiful.
that's probably the ultimate, you know, uh, use of your subconscious. You just put the
Jim,
rifle up and
do you
you
know
you
what
go
that's
through the
called?
pardon.
Do you know what that's called? There's a beautiful word for it. It's called trust.
I
You
hadn't thought of that.
you had put all this work in. You have to trust yourself that I put that work in.
I
So
like
it
that.
should be an
Yeah.
automatic. You got to trust. Hey, don't worry, man. You put in the time. You put in the hours. Just go have fun. Just go shoot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I can give you an example of a match I was in probably 6 weeks ago down in Phoenix with the guy who is the best shooter in our game, and he normally beats me, but sometimes he doesn't. And anyway, we had a match, and they always squad him and I shouldered right next to each other with our spotters. We shoot same animal at the same time, so
Right.
nobody can squawk and say one person had an unfair advantage.
Right.
But anyway, we started out on chickens, which is the closest animal. And he's right next to me, so I can see what he shoots. I'm trying not to pay attention, but
Right.
it's kind of hard not to. He hit all 10, I hit 8. And I
Ooh,
choked on 2 of them. I did. And I
right.
thought to myself, now, you can't keep doing this. You're not going to do well in this match. You've got to settle down. So I just talked to myself that way. So we went on to the next animal, which was pigs. And he hit all 10 again. And I only hit 9. So now I'm down 3 points.
Ooh,
And those are the 2 easiest animals to shoot at because the distances go out from there.
right.
Well, we get to turkeys, which is really the hardest animal because of the shape of it. It was
Yeah.
at 70 meters, I believe. And I hit all 10 and he only got 8.
Ooh,
Okay, so he's only 1 point ahead of me.
right. Now it's a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we go to Rams, and he hit 8 again, and I hit 9.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're tied. We're tied at 36 out of 40 for the match.
Wow.
And so because we tied, we had to have a shoot off on the turkeys. 5 shots, 2 minutes for 5 shots. And so we get up to shoot, and I'm thinking I wasn't really nervous about going and shooting it because I've been in shoot offs before, and I know he has too many times.
Right.
But I thought to myself, Jim, when you go up there now, you can't think about I want to hit 5 turkeys, 5 animals. I would concentrate on each shot,
One. Yeah.
one shot at a time, which I try to do in the normal matches anyway.
Right.
So I did that, and I hit all 5 animals. He only hit 3. So I won the match. It wasn't a big
Yay.
deal, but
Yes,
and
it
that's
is.
one of the few
Yeah.
times I beat him. But he missed 2 animals. He just did it. He's not infallible.
Right.
So anyway, that's an example of where it was a point I was going to make, that in shooting, people think, well, I'm going to go to this match and I want to get 40 out of 40, which everybody would like to do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you only do that by hitting each animal one at a time. So
One of
you just have to focus on that particular animal and not think about the other ones, just that one. If you miss it, you just go on to the next one, try to do better.
Jim, do you know
So,
what you just summed up? Sports psychology.
pardon?
You just summed up sports psychology.
Okay.
It's like that's all we really teach, like the golf shot. You can't worry about your overall score. You can't worry about that. You can only worry about or think about the shot at hand. And in baseball, I want to hit over 400. It's like, you got to hit this ball. You got to
Yeah.
hit one first. And so it's like anytime you can bring it back to that, you are helping yourself a lot. That's
Yeah.
great thinking. It's like, I only need one. I only need one.
Right. One at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shooting is, I don't know how it is with other sports, but for shooting, 90% of it is mental and 10% of it is physical and all the other stuff. It
Right.
really is. If you're not zoned in, you won't do well.
You're exactly right.
You had mentioned before that it used to be so hard when you were in a competition. It wasn't fun and it was hard. What made it hard? What was hard
What
about
made
it?
it hard was that when I got in the competition, I was bearing down just like I did in practice. And I I couldn't see the fun in shooting. I know that's a terrible thing to say because I was doing it because I liked it, but it wasn't fun the way I had to go about it to win. You know,
Yeah.
I just I put a lot of pressure on myself, which I I I have fun at the matches I go to now, whether win or lose. You're going to see a smile on my face because it isn't the end of the world if I lose. It's just a
Right.
game.
Right.
But it used to be like if I didn't win, the whole world was going to crash down on me. So
I
I
can relate to that.
rerouted my thinking. Yeah. And
And that's
it took a lot to do that. A lot of work.
well, you have to almost re-identify you as a person.
Yes, yes. And you, Jeff, really you really helped me do that in just a few sessions. And I'm still amazed at the things we talked about with my father. And I remember breaking down in tears. And when you were doing that little session with me, and I
Yeah.
wasn't going to talk about that, but when we got through with that session, I felt like a 10-ton weight had been lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah.
I just felt like, that's gone. I don't have to worry about that anymore. And it was
You,
incredible, really.
you were carrying a lot of weight on your
Yeah,
shoulder.
yeah, I was, yeah.
And when you stopped, when you got rid of it, it was like you were a different person.
Yeah. Well, maybe probably my dad, bless his soul, maybe he instilled that in me, you got to work hard and
Right.
you can't let up, and when I got rid of that, then things started to change for me,
Right.
really.
That's when it becomes
And
fun again.
pardon?
That's when it becomes fun again.
Yeah, and fun is I see these golfers like Rory McIlroy. I watched him in that golf tournament last weekend,
Me too. It was great.
and I was wondering, is he having fun out there?
Right. Right.
What did he
There's a
do? Did
lot
he
of
throw a
money at
fit?
stake, and
Well, he actually, I think it was his comeback time. He hadn't won in 3 years or something. And it was a big one. And it was the first one that he won on. And I mean, I think it was very emotional. He was pretty stoic throughout. But I think, Jim, did you see the interview at the end?
no, I did not.
Oh boy, I was bawling.
Oh, were you?
Oh my God, it was like it meant so much to him. And his dad died. And I mean, all these different things that
Oh,
have been happening to him. And it's like, this is my rebirth. This is what I've been retraining for. I kind of was out of commission mentally for 3 years or
huh.
for a while. Yeah, it was so cool.
Wow. Did he win?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he
won.
won.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was
Yeah. It was
back and
cool.
forth, but he won it.
Yeah. Well, we probably need to move on to the goat tip of the week.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
goat tip of the week, this is like we're trying to make goats, Tim. And it's take your shot. So many times, look at what just our show tonight. Jim, how old were you when you got back into the shooting?
I was about 37.
Yeah, 37. And what if you wouldn't have taken that shot?
I can't hardly picture life without shooting now.
Right. We miss 100% of the shots we don't take.
That's true.
And so, taking your shot is every kid deserves to see how good, every person deserves to see how good they could be if they really applied themselves. If they really said, I'm going to give this my best effort. And, you kind of learn that work ethic, Jim, along the way. Julie, you too, I know. It's like the work ethic is you work hard and you're going to accomplish great things, but you got to take your shot. And that's what most people don't do. Most people never step out of that comfort zone and go for that, take that risk of starting their own business or going after something that you really want, like a scholarship or a sport or anything. So if you're going to be successful, no matter what, you got to take your shot. So that's the GOAT tip of the week. Jim, I am so excited to be able to have talked to you tonight.
Jeff, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, keep on winning.
I'm going to try.
Keep us informed. I am so excited by your journey. It's just been one of the funnest I've ever had.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank you for helping me.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I loved it. Well, we will catch you all back next week. And I'm not sure, Julie, do we know who's coming on for sure?
No, we do not. Not for sure.
Not know for sure who's coming on, so I'm not going to announce them. But I am looking forward to talking to you all next week. And in the meantime, you got to own your shit. Get real. Be honest with yourself.
All right.
Thanks, Tim. Take care.
Thank you.